I'm not working.
New York City is in turmoil following the chaos of flash flooding and heavy rain. The governor reported that 28 people have been rescued, including 15 individuals in cars and 6 people in flooded basement apartments.
How the fuck am I supposed to get across this?
As flash floods swept through the various areas of New York City on Friday, residents were in frenzy due to heavy rains and rising waters. On Saturday, some areas in Connecticut and Long Island are preparing for more rain. Although no fatalities have been reported, scenes of chaos emerged as people waded through knee-deep water in search of higher ground, and drivers abandoned their vehicles on crowded highways. In a building in northern Brooklyn, New York City, residents reported that raw sewage had seeped into their apartments amid the torrential floodwaters.
Wow.
New York City firefighters have rescued at least 15 people from stranded vehicles due to the rising waters. First responders also rescued at least 6 individuals from flooded basement apartments. The floodwaters have disrupted transportation in the nation's largest city, with heavy rain causing flooding at some subway stations in New York City and inundating some train tracks in the area. JFK Airport was inundated with over 8 inches of rain, marking the wettest day recorded since 1948. And LaGuardia Airport experienced similar flooding with nearly 5 inches of rain, leading to flight cancellations. This is considered the wettest period for New York City in over 140 years.
Look at the people's doors!
The Central Park Zoo was inundated to the extent that a sea lion temporarily escaped from its cramped enclosure. The recent storm has further emphasized the growing calls for New York City to prepare for climate crisis. Rare and extreme weather events have become more common in recent years, underscoring the unfortunate lack of preparedness for rising sea levels in New York City. Friday marked the wettest day in New York City since Hurricane Ida hit about 2 years ago, during which at least 14 people lost their lives. In 2012, Hurricane Sandy struck New York City, resulting in 44 deaths and causing $19 billion in damages. Thousands of residents were displaced and more than 69,000 homes were damaged. The floods turned major roads into water bodies and forced children onto the upper floors of flooded schools. Governor Kathy Hochul declared a state of emergency, urging New York residents to stay home and specifically pointed out those living in basement apartments to prepare for the worst. State and city leaders called on people not to underestimate a storm that can turn from rainfall to a deluge in a matter of minutes. The storm occurred just 2 years after the devastation caused by the remnants of Hurricane Ida, which ravaged 5 boroughs and claimed at least 13 lives in the city, highlighting how vulnerable New York's aging infrastructure is to increasing impacts of extreme weather events due to climate change. Over a decade after Hurricane Sandy forced officials to reconsider the city's climate resilience, it appears they still have much work to do. Subway services, regional rail lines, and air traffic have been severely disrupted, and at least one school in Brooklyn had to be evacuated during the storm. The increasingly unpredictable and harsh climate necessitates greater investment and planning. Extreme weather events like these are illustrating how rapidly risks are shifting in cities like New York as climate change leads to increased precipitation and vulnerable existing infrastructure. Warmer air can hold and supply more moisture, potentially intensifying storms.
At 1 o'clock, she said I had to be at an appointment, and it's an hour later. Oh my God.
Hurricane Sandy in October of 2012 was considered a wake-up call for New York officials regarding climate and weather risks. Sandy made landfall as a post-tropical cyclone near Atlantic City and caused a devastating storm surge along the coast of New York and New Jersey.
Tsunami.
They have no control.
Oh my God, those cars are gonna get screwed too.
According to the city's emergency management office, the storm left 2 million New Yorkers without power and claimed the lives of 43 city residents. Nearly 70,000 housing units were damaged or destroyed. The storm caused approximately $19 billion in damages for New York City. The city's emergency management office noted that there hasn't been sufficient progress in strengthening New York's resilience to climate risks since then. Sea levels are rising more rapidly in some areas of the United States, such as Mid-Atlantic and Gulf Coast. The highest risk areas are those where sea level rise is coupled with land subsidence. This is occurring rapidly in regions like Louisiana and Texas, where human activities such as oil and gas extraction and groundwater pumping are causing land to sink. Experts have used housing and flood models to estimate the further flood-related costs for these homes. They predict that homeowners in North Carolina may face flood-related costs of at least $35,000 over a 30-year mortgage period. In New Jersey and New York, where housing prices are higher, further flood-related costs may be even greater. NPR analyzed nationwide flood disclosure laws in 2020 and found that living in a flood-prone area without knowing it can lead to significant financial impacts, especially for low-income households and renters. Homebuyers have the right to know the flood risk they might face. The damage can be very high and it can be financially devastating. Please leave your discussion comments below the video comments section. Thank you very much for your keen interest, follow-up, and enthusiastic support. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. For now, we say goodbye and look forward to seeing you in our next videos. Wishing everyone a warm day with your family.